Hello, everybody. This video is intended for families of the Lake Oswego School District. First, we want to say thank you. We know how much work you are putting in to make this happen, to keep your students connected with the teachers and with the learning that is happening right now. Secondly, thank you for your flexibility and patience while we all figure this out together. We want to let you know that we are here for you. We have already helped many families individually, and will continue to do so as we learn new things and as things change all the time. But we wanted to make a video that addresses some of the most commonly asked questions that we've been getting about Seesaw and Google Classroom and how all this is working. Let me first introduce myself. I'm Chris Hesselbein. I am a teacher on special assignment, specializing in innovation and technology. And we also have Ashley Spear here. Ashley?
Hi, I'm Ashley Spear, and I'm the Innovation Facilitator at Oak Creek Elementary.
And we put together a small presentation we'd like to share with you. First of all, today what we're going to be covering is what do you do if there's a problem at home. So there's a couple simple little steps that you can take to solve your problem right away instead of throwing yourself at it for a couple hours. We're going to talk about what a typical day in the life of should look like when we're using Seesaw. Like, what does the workflow look like? We're going to talk about activities, how you can help your student be completing those activities at home, what to expect, what does that look like. We're going to talk about what does the family side of it look like, the family view, and how to communicate with teachers. We're going to also take a look at how Google Classroom fits in with all of this as well. So what should you do if there is a tech issue? There's a couple things that you can do. One, if you are having an issue with your student Seesaw account or your family Seesaw account, you can go to the upper left-hand corner and click on your account, and it'll bring down a drop-down menu, and there should be a little red sign out. And when you click sign out and then you sign back in as a student or you sign back in as a family member, it has a tendency to kind of kick things into gear. So the first easiest thing you can do is just sign out and sign back in and see if that fixes your problem. If your student is on a district device, sometimes we've had some issues with the app not being correctly updated, the Seesaw class app not being updated, and then we're like, well, there's no app store on this. That is for your student security. But what we do have, and you can see the icon there, is a little rainbow square. That is the self-service app. And in there is all of the apps that our district has approved for people to be downloading. And so you could just go into the self-service app, find the Seesaw app, and you can click reinstall, and it will update to the most recent version of the Seesaw app for your student. So we've had some people saying that links aren't live or something, it just isn't working with the app. And when they've reinstalled from the self-service app, it tends to take care of a lot of those issues. The third thing is if you are using a Chromebook. Some of the newer touchscreen Chromebooks that may have gone home with the district, there is an app on the Google Play Store that the kids have been using, which is a little bit better for the touchscreen interface, but it's not quite as stable as the web browser. So the green check there is on the web browser. So instead of using the app from the app launcher on a Chromebook, try actually going into the Chrome browser and going to app.seesaw.me and actually going into Seesaw through the browser. Now, secondarily, if you are having an issue, sometimes people are like, oh, Seesaw is being blocked, or we can't get to it, or clearing the Chrome cache. So what I would try if you're on a Chromebook and things aren't working so well, is you go up to the upper right-hand corner and you look for the three dots, or the snowman, some of us call it, and then that will open up your Chrome menu. And you can scroll down to settings, and when you click settings, it'll go into the settings menu, look for privacy and security. And the first option there is clear browsing data. And when you click on that, it will take you to the clear browsing data options, and just make sure those things are checked and click clear the data. And then when you go back to Seesaw and refresh the web page, it should kind of kick it into gear and get it going. Those are the most common things that you can do at home that kind of like get you over the most common issues that we've been seeing. Now, if none of those things work, what I would suggest is to submit a help desk ticket. Our tech support team here has been working with families all the time during this. We're so thankful to them because they have opened up our internal help system that we usually use for teachers, and we've opened it up to our whole community. So if you are having an issue and those things don't work at home, don't spend 4 or 5 hours banging your head against this. Like, ask for help. You can email me if you want to. You can ask them. They're a lot better at this tech stuff than I am. So send them that at Zendesk, losdhelp.zendesk.com. Submit a request, fill out your information, and one of our techs will get back to you as soon as they can. So just wanted to let you know that try those things first. And if you need help, please ask for it. We are here for you. And now I'm going to turn it over to Ashley, and she's going to kind of describe what a day in the life might look like and what are some tips along the way.
Great. Okay, so now that you've solved all the tech problems, let's talk a little bit more about Seesaw itself. For families, right when you get logged in, and every morning you can be checking announcements, some teachers use that as a way to post maybe the weekly an assignment schedule. Maybe it's every day. So they'll be posting that in announcements for you to see what is on the docket for the day, what your child's assignments are, what your students' assignments are. If you are a student or helping your students, they should be checking their announcements, looking at that if their teacher uses that, and then also going right over to that light bulb and checking the activities. So in Seesaw, under activities is where they're going to see their different assignments. Some teachers will post in activities a link that will take them out to do something and then bring them back to Seesaw when they're ready to do it. So following the instructions from what the teacher assigned and then clicking that green plus where it says add or add response, depending on what kind of device you're on. Once you're in there and your student has started working on it, if they need more time to come back to it, there is an orange check that has draft written there. They can press draft and it will save it in their journal feed. And then they can come back to it later. They'll be able to press edit and come back and finish it later. If they're ready to submit it, they'll find that green check and be able to press that in order to submit it and turn it in. I think that a lot of times the draft feature gets underutilized, especially on some of the larger projects. I'm hearing of 3rd, 4th, 5th graders maybe having those longer projects that they're doing. And instead of feeling like you have to sit down and get this all done at one time, utilize that draft feature. It'll save everything. And then when they're ready to come back to it, they can just press the edit button and it'll open up right where they left off.
So just to review. So just to make sure families can check into their inbox in their family app, correct? Mm-hmm. And then students should also look into their inbox because there might be announcements in there from their teacher, but then their assignments are going to be in the light bulb in the activity place.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's important, especially for students to be able to check both, especially some teachers are really using those announcements to maybe even say, hop over to Google Classroom and look for the assignment there. So it may be that some of your activity or some of your assignments are not actual activities, but your teacher might have told them to in the announcements in that inbox. Okay, then looking at the kind of weekly schedule at a glance, you should be familiar with this now, but just here's a visual of it. Mondays are from your counselor for SEL lessons and also STEM. On Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, you'll be seeing your homeroom teacher post reading, or your math teacher, reading, math, and then another. Maybe they have a schedule of when they post science or social studies or art in there. And then alternating Tuesday, Thursdays, or Wednesdays and Fridays, it'll be PE and music assignments. I just wanted to mention here too that we're going to be showing you how to toggle between classes because the STEM, SEL, PE, and music are in a specialist class for your student's grade level, while your student will be in seeing ELA, math, or other in their homeroom class or in their math classes. So let's take a look here on how students toggle between classes.
So we might not have audio there.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, so yeah, looking up in the top left-hand corner, you can kind of see that under where the child's name is.
Or go back.
Click that. Okay. So you can see where the arrow is pointing, where the child's name is. You would just click there, touch that. It'll show up all the classes that are connected. They might have a different math class, different versus their homeroom, and then their specialist class and any other classes they might be connected with. And so then you would just touch that class or click on it, and it'll take you into that classroom. Reminder here, just like how we talked about before, inbox and activities will be different in each of those classes that your student is connected to. So you'll want them to log in, maybe get into the routine of first thing on Monday morning, they go to that specialist class at 9 a.m. and see the specialist assignments from SEL and STEM. And then Tuesday through Friday, they go to their homeroom first and then check the inbox and activities there and then hop over to specials. Later on, you can come up with this schedule that works for your family on how to check those.
Wonderful.
Along those lines of activities, so I just wanted to touch here a little bit more about activities. One reminder is that you must be logged in as a student in order to see the activities. I'm hearing from families, I don't know what the assignments are for the day. So I have two recommendations for that. One would be look it over as a family in the beginning, right in the morning, whenever you're starting your schoolwork, to look at the activities and kind of go through what all the activities are for the day. My other thought is if your child's teacher is posting it as an announcement, then it might be there as well. A lot of teachers or some teachers are posting like either the week at a glance where it has Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and all the activities for those days, or maybe what the schedule is for the day. So for accessing the activities, you must be logged in as a student. Remember clicking that light bulb in the activities there. And then when you're thinking about when these have come up, the newest, most recently assigned activities will be at the top, and it'll go down from there with the furthest or ones that were assigned furthest ago. So looking at that, reminder to press add response. And then if they're wanting to come back to it later, they would save it as a draft or do the green check if they're ready to submit it. All right, looking at next, I wanted to guide you through a little bit about the Seesaw Family app and website. So reminder that there's a Seesaw Family app, different than the Seesaw Class app, or you can log in as a family member on the Seesaw website to access this. Any of your students that you have will show up in one feed here. So you'll be able to see on the journal page, and I'm gonna, look here. So right when you get in on that home page, you'll be able to see all the assignments that have been posted. So the thing to remember is these are posts that your student has already submitted and they have been approved by your child's teacher and then are posted here. So in the home screen is where you'll see it. The most recent ones are at the top and it goes down chronologically from there. Looking over to journals, this is from the Seesaw Family side of it, you will see which children are connected to your account. So if you have more than one student at the elementary level, you should have all of their journals listed here so you can see who's connected. One last part in the Seesaw Family app and website is the inbox. This is where you'll see those announcements come through from your student's teacher or teachers coming through here. This is a great way to communicate with teachers also, and you can reply to them from the inbox. Something to keep in mind though is that you will only see when you click over to journal or click over to inbox, you'll only see the list of teachers who have already sent an announcement. So if you do not see this teacher's name that you're wanting to communicate with in this area, it means that they have not sent an announcement yet. So I would go back to emailing them is the best way to communicate. But if you go over there in inbox, you'll see a list of all the teachers that have sent an announcement, and you'll be able to click on that. And at the bottom, there's a spot to reply.
Yeah, and I think it's really important. I think the most confusing thing about Seesaw is probably that there is that family view versus the student view. And this is normally set up in a face-to-face situation where the students are doing work at school. And so the family view helps the family see what's happening at school. So it doesn't show like the list of all the activities. So you have to like just look over your shoulder, log in with your students, see what their activity stream is, and then when they complete an assignment and get the feedback on it, that's when you'll be able to see it in the family view. But the Seesaw messaging is really nice. It's a great way to stay in touch with your teachers. It takes it out of your email inbox, because I know that we're all getting so many emails right now. So it just gives us a separate place to communicate with teachers. So try that out, and just keep all your school communication in one place. Think that's really great. All right, so another thing, in grades K through 2, kids have been pretty much exclusively using Seesaw for everything now. You may have noticed that if you have a student in grades 3 through 5, that their teacher might also be using Google Classroom. And Google Classroom is really still the best way for teachers to manage large amounts of Google Docs and to assign things through Google Docs. Like we want you to write a Google Docs writing assignment, or we want you to create a Google Docs slideshow. So Google Classroom is still a really good way for the teachers to manage the kind of Google Doc workflow of it. But we are still saying that Seesaw right now during this time is our default communication platform, because there's no parent communication in Google Classroom. So we're using Seesaw as our umbrella, as our communication tool, so that we can send out announcements, activities, make sure that we're keeping all families and students in the loop. But if your teacher is also using Google Classroom, they might be still assigning things in Google Classroom. We're encouraging teachers that if they are doing an assignment in Google Classroom, that they're going to post it as an announcement or some kind of an activity saying, go to Google Classroom, do your work in Google Classroom, and then post it back to Seesaw. Here's a little flow chart about what we're kind of talking about here. What we're trying to get going is saying teachers could be posting in an activity in Seesaw, say, hey, there is an assignment in Google Classroom. The students do their work in Google Classroom, and then they post it back up to Seesaw so that you as a family can see their work in Google Classroom. The other benefits of them doing this is that they get to reflect on their work in Google Classroom. Seesaw lets them record their voice or annotate or draw on top of their Google Classroom work. So that is a really useful thing as well. So kind of think about it like a sandwich, where Seesaw is like the main, it's like the top of the bun, right? And then and then you might go and hop out and do some work in Google Classroom, and then you have the students finish it off by uploading it back into Seesaw so they can reflect on it, finish their work, and share it with you as a family. So that's kind of how things are working. We are saying that Seesaw is our umbrella tool, but we are not taking Google Classroom away from teachers. So it's a little bit confusing sometimes, but to know that just look at Seesaw for your activities, and when students are done doing their work in Google Classroom, they just upload it back to Seesaw just to let their teachers know that it is complete, and so that you can see the feedback on it too. Those are our most common questions that we have. And we just want to once again thank you for your time, energy, effort, and this is just an amazing task that we're all undergoing together, and it's a huge thing. We want to let you know that we are here for you. We want to support you through this. We hope that this information is helpful. Please ask for help, because we want everyone to feel successful with this. Stay in touch. Be safe. Wash your hands. Bye-bye.
Thanks.